Here's the top 10 worst corruption cases in the history of the United States. Before I get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on each one of these in future videos. I already have the Teapot Dome one up, so go check that out. Let's get into the video. At number 10, we have the New Orleans Levy scandal. After Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans in 2005, investigations revealed that corruption and negligence played a significant role in the failure of the levees. The engineers tasked with maintaining the city's levee system had been involved in poor decision and poor construction practices. Local officials were also implicated in kickback schemes and misallocation of federal funds, which were intended for levee maintenance and upgrades. The system's failures directly contributed to the flooding that caused over 1,800 deaths and billions in property damage. The scandal exposed how mismanagement and corruption in construction and maintenance had left the city vulnerable to disaster, making it one of the most tragic construction-related corruption cases in U.S. history. Number 9, the Sherman Adams scandal. Sherman Adams, chief of staff under President Eisenhower, accepted gifts from a Boston-based textile manufacturer in exchange for political favors, of course. While this one's less financially devastating than some of the others on this list, the scandal's political ramifications were significant. It permanently tarnished the reputation of the Eisenhower administration and made corruption at the federal level a hot topic. Number 8, the LA subway tunnel fraud. Corruption and cost inflation in the Los Angeles subway project saw over $150 million in cost overruns and led to numerous indictments. While the financial losses were considerable, the damage to public transportation initiatives and political consequences within Los Angeles helped place this as number 8 on the list. Number 7, the Willow Island disaster. This tragedy, which resulted in the death of 51 construction workers in West Virginia, was caused by the negligence and shortcuts in construction of a cooling tower at a power plant. Investigators found poor safety protocols and lack of oversight. While this one's not as financial as a lot of the others on this list, it's the scale of human loss and the avoidable nature of this disaster that puts it as number 7. Number 6, the Halliburton KBR Iraq construction scandal. Halliburton and its subsidiary, KBR, were implicated in widespread overcharging and mismanagement of contracts for the rebuilding of Iraq after the 2003 invasion. Billions of dollars were lost due to cost overruns, poor oversight, and fraudulent billing practices. The scandal tainted U.S. reconstruction efforts and led to significant public outcry over wartime profiteering, making this number 6 for its international impact and its vast financial scope. Number 5, we have another subway incident, but this time it's across the country. The New York subway scandal. This early 20th century scandal saw city officials and private contractors inflate costs and mismanage funds for New York City's subway system, leading to massive financial waste. Given the scale of the subway and its importance to New Yorkers' lives, the scandal had severe public consequences and cast a long shadow over future public work projects in New York City. Number 4, the PennDOT scandal. Pennsylvania's Department of Transportation was at the center of major corruption scandals involving contractor kickbacks, inflated costs, and, you guessed it, misuse of taxpayer dollars. It wouldn't be a scandal unless we're abusing the taxpayers. More than 50 state officials and contractors were indicted. The lasting damage to public infrastructure development, alongside with billions of financial losses, is what gives this such a high ranking. We're finally in the top 3, and starting us off, we get Operation Greylord. In Chicago, this large-scale investigation uncovered widespread corruption within the Cook County judiciary system, where judges were taking bribes. Over 90 judges, attorneys, and law enforcement officers were convicted. The systemic nature of this corruption, which affected court rulings on a broad scale, had profound implications on public trust in the legal system. This one's ranked number 3 because of the deep impact on the judicial system. For number 2, we have the famous Boston Big Dig. While this wasn't a single clear-cut corruption case like the Teapot Dome, the staggering $14.6 million price tag, the gross mismanagement, the delays, and the involvement of several contractors who cut corners, including substandard materials that caused the fatal collapse, make this a close second. The sheer amount of taxpayer money wasted and the magnitude of fraud and mismanagement make it one of the most consequential U.S. construction scandals in history. And now, finally, for number 1, one of the biggest U.S. construction scandals in history, we have the Teapot Dome scandal. I'm sure you already knew that. So this scandal is actually considered one of the worst because it was the first major instance of U.S. government corruption at the cabinet level. We all know there's been corruption, there's always been corruption, but not at this level, at least in the United States. It involved the illegal leasing of government oil reserves And it shook public interest in federal governance. The sheer audacity of a sitting cabinet member accepting bribes to exploit national resources set a high bar for corruption scandals. Its long-lasting damage to the public trust in the Harding administration cements it as the most damaging. And there you have it, the 10 worst construction cases in the United States history. Again, make sure to like and subscribe. Go watch the Teapot Dome scandals. I have 2 types of videos up. Let me know if you like a more serious or a more fun type of video. I don't mind doing them both. I kind of like doing them both. I do like the aspect of deep diving, but I also like to give quick, funny overviews. And stay tuned for the deep dive of the other 9 that I mentioned on this list.